Blog Talk Radio.
This is Samuel. We will be airing the TaylorRusch interview that took place January the 10th, 2019 at 2:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Already? It is waiting to load, so please wait patiently.
Hello everyone, this is Samuel Flynn Show. I have with me a live interview of TaylorRusch. How are you doing?
Howdy folks. Hey, I'm doing great, Samuel. It's good to be here with you in Crossville, Tennessee, right?
Yes.
So, yeah.
It sure is a nice place, I'll tell you that. It's peaceful, it's everybody keeps to themselves and they behave around here.
Well, I honestly, I've been in other parts of Tennessee. This is my first time in Crossville, but it's definitely nice and peaceful. The countryside was beautiful driving in. I didn't really know if I was coming up to the right place until I called you up and said, "Hey, are those two fake deer out front of those yours?"
Yeah.
So, found the right place, thankfully. Yeah.
Yeah. How many years have you been acting?
Man. Well, first off, I have been acting professionally or pursuing acting professionally for the past 2.5, 3 years now. But are you asking professionally or criminally? Because growing up, I was pretty good at pulling the wool over my parents' eyes at times as a teenager. I think everyone has those moments, when they're a kid, they're a youth, when they're good at pretending. But when I was really young, I really enjoyed dressing up with my siblings, pretending with my siblings. And when I was young, I got thrown into sports. Oh. And I think you understand, as a young man, often the emphasis is sports and football, and if the coach came to your house when you were a kid, you had to say, yes, I'm going to play next year, even if you were terrified of having to be the nose guard again.
Yeah.
but you did it anyways. And so I think there was this hunger, though, inside for the performing arts, for singing and dancing and acting. And I didn't know I was able to or allowed to express it. I did it through choir and then started playing instruments, guitar when I was 11, started writing songs. Funny thing, my mom actually, I told her I wanted to be a saxophone player. She said, no, you're going to play something that you can sing along with. And I was frustrated at the time, and I'm glad that she emphasized that now. So throughout the years, I started doing some church plays. In 9th grade, played the bad guy, the constable in Fiddler on the Roof. And finally, after years of frustrating myself with football and other sports and cross country, I let loose. I came out, so to speak, as an actor. Senior year of high school, I decided, I heard a still small voice say, join the jazz choir.
Oh.
Joined the jazz choir, and after visiting a cabaret that my teacher was putting on, who happened to also be the teacher for the show choir, I asked him, hey, I know you need more guys. And I jumped in to basically musical theater, show choir, singing and dancing. Did it off and on as a hobby in college. And then the past 3 years, I finally had the courage to decide to pursue it professionally.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Who and what inspired you to start acting?
Oh, man. It's a good question. I think by my all-time favorite hero on the screen has always been Harrison Ford. I grew up a huge Indiana Jones and Star Wars fan, so Han Solo, Indiana Jones. There's a lot of other ones. I remember really enjoying Alfred Hitchcock movies growing up. Especially
I was a little
for
young
some of the
for
birds.
that, but I was
Yeah.
a little young for that, but I know what
Do you remember any Hitchcock movies?
I did watch some.
Which ones did you watch?
Wasn't some of I know some of them were the Twilight Zone, right? Or
Well,
was that the
that's a bit different, but kind of the similar kind of
It's kind of like
eerie,
that, yeah.
A little bit that's kind of the weird science stuff.
Yeah,
you
he's
know,
got some weird movies. I've seen
Yeah.
a few, but I mean they very rarely come on
Yeah.
the networks anymore. But they're one of the rare things you see. So, how many movies have you starred in, and how many movies were you an extra
it's funny
in?
you said
I know
starred in. I mean, not a lot of star roles yet, but I'm grateful because in a short period of time, I can say in 2.5 years I've made a lot of progress, and I'm very grateful for that. I started out and jumped into background work, and the story behind that is I was in corporate. I had done many other jobs, from cooking in restaurants to landscaping crews to carpentry to working in the bank as a teller and as a banker, and then I became a mortgage consultant. I just got tired of sitting in a cubicle and knowing that there was something else for me to do, and that people would say,
Right.
Taylor, there's something else for you. And eventually I was going to a certain church at the time, and a friend of mine named Phoenix, he had done some background work, and he comes up to me one day and says, Taylor, it's your time. And I knew what he meant for some reason, because I'd been in my heart this desire to pursue acting, because in Atlanta there was all these productions going on, and I just left corporate. All I had was Lyft to make an income. I was driving Lyft and Uber, and I went into a Master's of Positive Psychology program thinking I'm going to be a life coach, which I'm finishing up still. But that program gave me the confidence to jump into film. So with that backstory, I started doing background work, and my first big feature background was with Hidden Figures. And I had a lot of fun being a NASA engineer, and just being around excellent actors like Taraji P. Henson and Kevin Costner, and getting to see how the camera crew and all of the production went on, and just being there in the midst of all the magic, I was hooked. And so I started asking people, well, what do I do next? Well, you don't want to be in background work forever, get an agent. So I said, God, I need an agent. And I said, I'm going to have an agent by the end of the week.
Right.
And so, lo and behold, I meet a friend who's having lunch with a friend who is working for an agent, and I signed with what's called a starter agency. Folks out there interested in getting into acting, get more information about an agency before jumping in. I can say I'm grateful for the agency I was working with at the time. I won't name them. They got me a lot of good training, but it was more of one of those pay-to-play kind of agencies. And throughout that time, I just started building my resume. Go ahead.
What do you mean paid to play?
Pay-to-play, yeah. So right now, I've been through 3 agents. My most recent 2 agents, they take a percentage of my earnings. Say, if I do TV and film work, 10% of anything they help me book.
That's usually standard.
Yes.
10%.
Exactly. And then for commercial or print work, it'd be 20%.
Yeah.
The pay for play.
I thought that was a manager that did 15 or more.
Well, if you have a manager and they're helping you with everything, they'll usually take a percentage too. But the pay for play, what that means, and I'll explain it here succinctly, is that they ask for money up front,
right.
and then they start pitching all these classes to take to get you training. And it works for some people, but it's almost kind of selling people dreams without
And it hurts.
Being realistic.
It hurts the business, the acting industry.
It can make the industry look bad. I'm not saying
Yeah.
all of those companies are
Right.
terrible. They might help people get in who might have difficulty getting in other ways, but eventually you want to work towards having a SAG-affiliated, Screen Actors Guild affiliated or approved agency that takes a percentage versus asking you to pay up front.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. I mean, I've seen some of them come and offer me things, and I'm like, well, if you're not exactly having trouble with that, with the acting part of it, and you want just an agent, well, they will still want you to go through that no matter what. It's like, oh boy.
Yeah, and then they want to charge you obscene prices for headshots, and I did all that. And I had other people in the background who would warn me. That's what I'm so grateful for. What I learned through going through background and being in that atmosphere. And anyone who's never been in acting, I encourage you to at least go on a couple of background sets. I did it for about a year and a half before I said, I'm moving on. I've still done some recently just because there were some projects I really wanted to work on. But I met other people while networking on as a background artist who gave me excellent advice. They told me where and how to get headshots. They told me which agencies to go after. Some of them were signed with an agency that I was with before my current agent, and by asking them to put in a good word for me, I was able to get an agent. It's all about networking with this business. Even when you have very little knowledge or technical skill when it comes to maybe a technique with acting or a lot of know-how, who you know really does go a long way. I'm not saying you shouldn't have talent, but it's important to build those relationships. And that's what I did.
Yeah.
And you asked me Hidden Figures, Pitch Perfect 3, I mean, there was a bunch of other ones. I did Being Mary Jane for BET for a little while just as a one of the news guys, and again, all background work, but excellent people that I got to meet. Not just other actors, but meeting the crew members was essential to building connections in the industry.
Already. We got a comment. Do you want to check the comments?
What's the I don't know if I can see the comment.
You might be able to. I don't know.
Yeah.
You should have gotten the same thing I've got.
Oh, lost sound. Oh, we can hear you and then lost sound. Does our sound good?
Should be.
Okay. It might have just gone out for a second, so.
Well, good news is it's recording. I can go back in it later. All right. How many we've already asked that question. I don't know why
well,
I
you
chose
mentioned
that.
background. You asked me what I'd starred in.
Right.
I guess you want me to answer that?
Yeah. Which one is your role that you would say is kind of big? And
okay. I guess somewhat my favorite. Last year, I got to be part of filming. Actually, it was filmed in 2017 and was released to the festival circuit this past year in 2018. Was a short film called Musical Salvation, which I got to play the lead role in. And the reason I want to touch on this film specifically is I played a musician and recovering drug addict named Jake. He's also a father. And folks, when this film finally comes out and is released to the public, it's a mind blower. It's so powerful. It's a testimony to my own recovery in my own life. I have a life of overcoming habits, hang-ups, and hardships, just like everyone has them. But I asked for God to give me opportunities in the TV and film realm to use me in films that would inspire others to grow in faith, and specifically within the recovery realm. In this film showed up, the director approached me and knew about my story, and I got to play this this recovering drug addict musician. And what was so neat is it went to multiple festivals and actually won 7 out of 8 awards at LA Cinefest. 7 out of the 8 awards. And the only one it didn't win was the one I was nominated for as Best Actor. But I'm still grateful for the nomination. And I know that this is the kind of film that can impact people and change lives. And that's why I wanted to be a part of it.
You don't mind me playing your demo real
Oh, yeah, go for it.
All right.
Thank you, everyone. You know, it's been a rough road, but I'm really grateful because a week from now, I'm celebrating a year of sobriety. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Each day is harder than the next. But now I have a why. When I have something worth fighting for, every day's easier. Alright, so this next song is Chainless Forever. I'm so excited because I'm releasing it in 2 weeks on an EP. Nothing can hold you down, folks. This song was inspired by my son. So here we go. Wow, that's bringing back memories. Thanks for sharing that. Again, Musical Salvation will be released this year after it goes through one other film festival. But it's a testimony to being able to be part of that, of my own relationship with Christ, bringing me through some depth and some hardships of my own hell and into the light, into heaven. Because I've experienced forgiveness and grace and mercy that's allowed me to walk a road of recovery that without Him was impossible. And this story is a testimony to that. Got someone calling in.
Yeah.
Is that a caller? No. Hey.
Hello?
No, it's the government again, isn't it? Man, they're always trying to take you down. It's a testimony because the father in this film, he's a father, is estranged from his son because of his addiction. And I have 2 little boys that I'm so grateful to have a relationship with, Elijah and Canyon, 7 and 6, who I know that this relates so much to my own story and everything I'm grateful for. So relates so much to my own story.
So yeah.
Okay, yeah. We're just checking the sound here.
Yeah, we was just checking that. We had some complaints about it already, and I think that's what it was. Our phones, both of our phones, blowing up at the same time, and I think that's what's going on. But I think it's more of their. It sounds like it's more of their end because it's. I mean, I know there's a lot of internet outages. I know it's not a stable network on their side, possibly, and they might need to get that checked out.
Okay.
But out of all your films you've acted in, which one is your favorite and why?
Well, Chainless Forever was definitely one that was my favorite because it was
one of my chances to really play a role with depth of emotion. The character was very depressed, and so I actually went through a breakup the weekend before filming, and I decided, you know what, Lord, I'm going to use this, all this emotion, I'm going to bottle it up for a week and pour it out in front of the camera to feel depressed. And I was dark that whole weekend and going through the filming. And I remember when we wrapped, I remember saying to the crew and the cast, I had a big smile on my face, which I wasn't talking to anyone the whole time. I wasn't mean, but I was just very, very solemn. I said, hey, everyone, I can be happy again. And I laughed, and I jumped in my car, and I blasted some really positive music, and I just flushed it all out. But that, alongside with what's an excellent new web series that my friend Adam Geegan and I created, that we started writing on the back of a pickup truck, called That Background Guy, based on our experience in the background world. We both met on Hidden Figures, actually. Both played the NASA engineers. And it just released last night on YouTube.
Oh.
We filmed it this past summer. It's a SAG new media, so it means that it's official. It's got the official paperwork. And we got a lot of great actors and actresses with some credentials and great crew and camera and lighting who helped us bring it to fruition. So check out That Background Guy on YouTube. It's the first episode is hilarious, and there's 9 more episodes to come. So, yeah,
that's good. Are you a SAG-AFTRA actor, by the way, or no?
You know, I'm not yet. In Atlanta, there's a choice. It's a right to work state, and some people either go SAG, or some people just stay SAG eligible, meaning they have the eligibility to become a member of SAG, but choose not to, so they can continue taking non-union work. And then some people do something called FICOR, which is where it's a special addendum, so to speak, to SAG, or people who want to be part of the union, but also want to be able to do non-union work. And I'm in that place right now with, because of the SAG New Media project we did this past summer, I believe I'm SAG eligible. Sometimes people write their own shows to do that, to get tafted in, so to speak. I, like many actors and actresses, wait till they truly have to become SAG, because if you want to make a living before then off of acting, or which you're always doing a side gig. Most people out there, if you're actors and actresses, you know what I mean. You're doing some kind of side gig, like Lyft or waiting tables, right, or doing marketing. And I'm waiting for that time when I have to become SAG. Yeah.
As an actor, would you say it is hard to be an actor? And if someone wanted to pursue this line of work, should there be a college degree involved necessarily, or is that usually optional?
First off, there's a great quote that I love. It says, it's anonymous, I believe, but if you want to be an actor, then do something else. But if you have to be an actor, give it everything that you have. So I might have butchered it a little bit, but the meaning still stays the same. I would encourage, if you know at a young age or early on that you want to do this, make it your definite major purpose in life, and make sure you pray a lot about it. But if you know that desires in your heart, that desires from the universe, that desires from God, and it might be the universe speaking to you saying, hey, this is how I want you to bring about light and change in life and joy to other people, and happiness and humor and creativity. So get into the training that you can get in. Start where you're at. If you're starting later on in life, I encourage you to enjoy maybe testing out the whole background thing and trying that out, taking some classes at a local studio. I'm taking professional acting classes now from Jason W. Smith, actually. He was in American Made with Tom Cruise, and he was also one of the saviors in Walking Dead, and I've just really loved learning the Strasberg method from him. But do what you can to network with others, start creating films with friends. You know, we have this social media thing now. We're in these fantastic iPhones and Androids. I still have an Android that can film almost anything. Just get out there and get creative and stop worrying about the money or the opportunities will come when you put yourself out there. Yeah.
Right. That's what I did with photography. I guess you'd say I kind of gotten out of that a little bit because I've had some other things in life I'm more worried about my education and getting I mean, even though I've been in college, you know, I'm going twice now to a different college, but studying in a different field. So, but we're gonna play Chainless Forever if you don't mind.
Oh, okay. So we're jumping into the music side now, huh?
Yep.
Cool.
All right, I've got some questions for you real quick. What does this album mean to you, and personally, and what does it mean to you? What is it talking about, mostly?
Okay, so are you talking about Chainless Forever specifically? I released this as a single before I released the EP or the album. A Shift Is Happening, and Chainless Forever came to me about 4 years ago. And I was sitting in a rehab center after my divorce. Well, actually, it was before my divorce, but an impending divorce was coming to my life. I already had my 2 sons, and my life was falling apart just due to some unforeseeable circumstances and some things that I hadn't dealt with from my childhood, some traumas, but also some choices. And I remember I was sitting on my bed in my room at this treatment facility, crying out to God. I'm like, what's going on with my life? What's going on? And I remember these words coming to me. I was feeling quite down, feeling unable to face all the fears of my world, shouldering a heavy burden and an unasked for label, my head caught up in a whirlwind of painstaking questions that led to no answers as I lay awake in my bed. And I cried out to heaven, angry, frustrated, and this is what the voice of God said. And I remember I was just awestruck. And I'd had songs come to me like that before, channeled to me, you know, when I was younger. I mean, whenever a good song came in like 5 or 10 minutes, I just write it down. But this one I felt like God was very clearly saying, I am real, I love you, you're not going through this alone, I will see you through and take care of you, even though there was a lot of pain at the time. So I'll just say the chorus real quick. It's just wait till you see you're gonna be free, chainless forever, child. Just take up your wings and soar to the sky, light as a feather, child. You belong to me, so be free. You belong to me, so be free. And it was like, okay, put your eyes upon, you know, as they say, turn your eyes upon Jesus. Turn your eyes upon God. Allow the universe to work things out on your behalf. And that was a hard time, but those songs and the other songs that we'll share later got me through some of those times.
Right. Mm-hmm. What's the most favorite out of your songs?
Oh, man. Well, I am kind of partial to Chainless Forever, but Take a Deep Breath. Take a Deep Breath is probably my favorite of the songs. Can we listen to a little bit of it, and
right,
so people kind of know what we're talking about here, and
yeah,
and then I'll explain a little bit of the backstory. Yep.
Okay.
It is. Yep. good spot right there.
Yeah.
I turned within to the fountain of life and took a deep breath. I'm sure everyone out there listening right now has had times in their life, just like you have, just like I have, where we look to relationships, material possessions, people, things, money for purpose and value and worth. And the whole point of this song is that our value comes from within, turning within to the fountain of life, the presence of God, within, and take a deep breath. And this has been a song that's taught me. I believe this song is going to be to teach me, to remind me to continue to focus that, because it's so easy to lose sight. And so this is an anchor song, even when things like, say, the acting goes really well, or the music goes well, or other parts of my life go well. This reminds me, where's my anchor? What's my purpose? And where does my worth really come from?
Right.
Yeah. So just another song just kind of came out. And one thing, I think the reason why this is my favorite, it's really a singer-songwriter kind of song. It's telling a story. I love telling stories. And so much of the music you hear these days, I like pop music like anyone else does, but can just be like a few repeated lyrics and catchy tune, great for the club, but having something where you're telling a story and conveying some kind of principle to others.
Right.
The other line in this is travelers. Talking about a man who laid down his loads and turned to love within. Talking about Christ and how there's travelers on a dusty road following him, and how he's the first one to really just embrace the Father, embrace the presence of God, of love, in a way where it was just careless, unhindered. I'm trusting in this presence within me and living by that instead of worldly expectations. And I want to tell stories like that.
Right. Alrighty. I know you have 2 kids, and I know you're divorced. So
you have those questions down there for, are you married and do you have kids? But I will say, right now I'm very much married to my career.
Oh.
The thought is, if I stay focused on seeking first the kingdom, or seeking first my definite major purpose in life, that the right person will come along who's going in the same direction. And I just choosing not to worry about chasing women down, but chasing the presence of God down, chasing down my definite major purpose. If you don't know where that comes from, check out The Master Key to Riches by Napoleon Hill. And really just enjoying every minute of it, living in the present moment. So.
Do you have a website people can go and visit by your music?
Yeah, I do. It's www.TaylorRusch, TaylorRusch.com. You can also find my music on Spotify streaming, but you can also purchase it on the iTunes Apple Store, on Google Play, and I believe there's many other places that it is. You know more about that than I do as my music manager, but
yeah, it's
all over the place now. It's streaming in other countries. There's people listening in like Russia and like Latin American countries, and it's pretty cool to see all the different streams. So,
yeah, I know. It's neat. Well, I thank you, and we're gonna thank the audience too.
Thanks for listening. This feels like such a short period of time. I'm just enjoying this. But
we thank the audience for sure for coming on here and listening to my show. I really, really appreciate it. I mean, I've done the radio show for actually 4 years, but I'm kind of just pretty much upgraded using a different platform, and no longer really needing to use that old platform we used to have. It's just moving on to something else greater, and it's been very, very good. It's been a blessing. So, but
It's been a pleasure coming up here, getting to spend the day with you here in Crossville, and really, I mean, this is for those in the audience who don't know, this is the first time we've met face to face. I met Samuel because I was driving Lyft one night and I said, God, I want to glorify you with my music. I need a music manager. 20 minutes later, he texts me out of the blue. We never talked before. 20 minutes later, says, hey, do you need a music manager? So talk about divine intervention. Anyways.
Yes. and too, and I know how to do it too. It's just, I know it's going to be busy, but, we can handle it. People, I've been there. I've been busy before, and I know how that is. Phone calls and trying to do other stuff at the same time, so I know what that is. So, but
speak it, brother. Yep.
But anyway, just visit SBF Show. We have a new domain now. You don't have to go to that long domain. I know you've probably seen that as a headache. I did too, to be honest with you. But you gotta understand, I created that probably about a year or two ago, under some horrible circumstances. So somebody took over our website and pretty much kind of hijacked it, or whatever you want to call that. So we decided to go this route. So it's SBF Show. It's SBF-show.weebly.com. So that's not too much to remember. So, but you can go there definitely, and you can go to Anchor.fm or Google, whatever suits you best. But
cool.
Thank you for listening. It is 3:22 p.m. Top down.
Yeah. Do you want to go out with playing a song as we go out?
Yeah.
Let's do A New Age is Dawning.
Where's that at?
That is...
Yeah. I cleared that out so I can get to that.
Yeah. You can kind of just let serenade people on the way out. But again, this is from A Shift is Happening EP. All about discovering the inner shift going on in you, which is the presence of God awakening inside of you, to be the transformative presence of life and love on the planet. So be who you are meant to be. Wake up.